Welcome everyone to the Conversion Chemistry Effect and to part 2 of why we sabotage ourselves. Last week we talked about what success means to us, how we make our decisions and how we can be more efficient with them, and the power of sticking with our decisions. So today we're going to kind of recap talking about short-term versus long-term and how we can make those choices in our life so that we're making choices that are good for us now, but are even better for us later. Hey, Frank.
Hello.
Hi. And
good to
hi,
see
Jonesy.
you. Good to see you.
Hi, Hannah. Hi, BizDoc.
Welcome. So the first question I want to ask you guys is, what's a choice that you've made in business that benefited you short term, but then didn't work out long term that you would change if you could?
I would say maybe working with a couple of partners way back when, before I knew better, and certain things. I tend to be very trusting and take people at their word. Maybe I should have done a little bit more digging. And when you see something not going right, that's the time to fix it, not let it go a little longer and say, oh, well, we'll straighten it out. They're good people. It's like, no, you go, time out. This isn't cool. We need to fix this.
So how do you decide now whether or not someone should be a partner for you?
I just flip a coin.
Is that better?
It's worked out so far. I'm 3 for 3 with you guys.
Found the Batman villain. Found the Batman villain.
Dun, dun, dun.
No,
well, I have
mean,
a Batman, so we'll be fine.
That's true. I just think things, I don't always say yes to everything. Not that I ever did, but I said yes to a lot more stuff earlier in my career. And I can remember a couple of different radio shows, and it was an okay fit, but it wasn't a great fit. I think now I know it when I see it. After 28 years, I sure as heck hope so,
So it sounds like you've kind of pared down the amount of things that you're willing to work on during your week because you want to only work on the things that matter.
Yes. And it's a great thing about being an entrepreneur. There's always another opportunity coming right. It's like a bus on Broad Street in Philly. You miss one, there'll be another one in 2 minutes. If you're at Broad Market waiting for something, don't worry, there's another one coming. You're never going to run out of opportunity in this world, in this life, and in this business of this entrepreneurial field. There's always money. There's always money to be made. There's always deals out there. And I think the thing is being selective and a little more discerning. And sometimes you just have to learn from it, from experience. But I think being a little more discerning, a little more selective, a little more careful can serve you rather than just saying yes to everything that moves, because not everybody's going to vibe the same way. Ethically, work ethic, morality, ethic, like how you treat your customers and stuff. So, just let it ride for a little bit, check things out, and then maybe say yes to something rather than, oh, cool, a new JV. Let me go do it now.
I love that. I think all of the things that you just said are essentially cures for shiny object syndrome, which I think we covered a little bit in the last episode. But it's so important to, one, recognize exactly what you just said. It's not going to go away. There are going to be other opportunities. And while we do want to jump on the ones that we think are incredibly important, we're going to find other ones. We're going to go out in the world and meet a ton of people and hear a new amazing idea and be able to do that instead. And so we don't have to act out of desperation or act like we're coming from a place of scarcity, because ideas are not scarce. They're everywhere. So I love that. Thank you so much, Frank.
Sure.
Yeah. Jonesy, I want to ask you the opposite question, and it really isn't in our notes, but I want to see if you think this has value. It's going to be weird. Have you ever made a long-term decision that didn't work out in the short term and then also didn't work out in the long term?
Okay, so this is funny because I was just mentally preparing to answer the first round of questioning,
Yes.
but
dun, dun, dun.
so Well, let me preface it. All right, short-term decision is my frame of reference here is going from a freelance marketer to running an agency, and the short-term decision was taking on everything myself initially because what's the gross profit of doing everything yourself? 100%. However, that's not scalable. Therefore, I cannot serve as many people. I cannot do as much good, and in the end, can't make as much money that way. Frank, you have your webinar, your report, the podcast we've done in many formats, the 10 fatal errors that entrepreneurs and business owners make that prevent them from scaling and ensure failing. I think it's error number 4 is doing everything yourself. Wish I had known that. So that's kind of on you, Frank. I'm sorry. That's on you for not, meeting me sooner in life and sharing that. So
I accept that.
Just think about that for a second. Yeah.
It's usually always my fault, so I'm quite comfortable with this, actually.
So now, long term, that's something we've built the agency to 9 people, which is still small compared to a lot of larger agencies out there. But growing a massive agency is not one of my goals. So yeah, the business takes on a smaller profit because we have a bigger infrastructure and more people to pay. But that's okay because now we're able to serve a larger community better, stronger, harder, and faster, which turns into longer term profits. Now, to answer your question about it was a short term that did not work out, but worked out in the long term. I will invoke a very recent project, which is our Shut Up Karen LLC, which started as an AI business-driven experiment based on a viral TikTok that a former coworker of mine created. And we basically, it would serve 2 purposes. One was to monetize his account. 2 was to create passive income with a brand. So we created this whole Shut Up Karen brand, generated almost completely with AI, with the methods we use at Conversion Chemistry. And then phase 3 was kind of like, hey, here's our use case and here's how to do it. So again, we can empower people to do the same thing. Anyway, we built the whole thing out. We sold some merchandise off of it, but said partner did not execute. We're working on bringing him back in. So fast forward to about 18 months later, as this episode is going to air in October of 2024, I brought on the amazing Samuel Risby, known as the Sultan of Savage, whose MO is basically creating viral content and scaling and monetizing social media accounts. So I asked him if he'd be interested in working on this project, and he said absolutely. And a few months later, I brought him on about 5 months ago. Made him a full partner and everything. And he grew the Facebook account from 0 to, at this time, 53,000 followers. Instagram, we're at about 16 or 17,000. So we're making money just on the ad revenue. So there is a long-term vision I had, which did not plan out. It didn't pan out in the short run because I didn't put the right people in. And hopefully what I'm saying right now ages like milk because I want the other guy to come back in like desperately. I'd love him to be a part of this. And I think he will. We all have stuff pop up and it's not always the right time for things, but the vision is being, we're seeing it through. And that refers back to the part 1 of what we did here, which was, not being consistent and stopping short, the 1 feet from gold type of paradigm that we experience. And, because the brand stayed alive and we just kept it minimum and now put the right people in place, bang, it's happening. It's happening. So I can't say enough for having the right people in place for a plan to come to fruition.
I absolutely love that. I was there the day that you made that. I saw you afterwards at hockey and you were so excited. And I was so excited for you. And so to see it kind of, like taking another huge step towards success is really, really cool. I also was wondering if this next thing that we're going to cover is kind of related to this. You said
everything relates to everything, so we'll find a way.
So you said the Sultan of Savage started working on this 5 months ago. So that's 13 months from the beginning of Shut Up Karen, right? Which is what's that website again?
Shutupkaren.net.
Okay, thank you. Always say your website. And
yes, doctor.
Yeah. And so from start to 13 months later, there was like nothing happening, right?
when we initially, so we leveraged the initial TikTok account, which has, 1.6 million views, 250,000 followers. We sold some merchandise out of it.
Okay.
Just by saying, hey, use this coupon code, I want to see the manager, because it's Karen, for 15% off. I should probably put that coupon code back up by the time this airs.
Oh,
right?
you should put it. Yes,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That makes a lot
All
of
right,
sense.
so check out the show notes for the coupon code, because we gotta put that back on. I'll do some post editing magic and do that.
Can you put a ding sound when I did that, by the way?
Yeah, yes, I
Okay.
can. Thanks for
Ding.
creating
Yeah.
more work for us.
You're welcome. Okay, well, that didn't relate to what I wanted to
It
say as
didn't.
much,
It made
but I'm
it made a
really
couple.
glad.
It made some money on merchandise sales, because I already had the infrastructure by running the agency. So the website itself was zero cost besides time, because the server resources were distributed already. But anybody can really do that with a Shopify account for like $30 a month, or we can build you out a full e-commerce website. I believe in doing the minimum viable product first, so do it as basic as you can, and then reinvest the profits into beefier infrastructure.
Okay, I love all of that. It's very off topic, but I love all of that. And I actually want to go look at your website now, so I'm really excited. Okay, I'm going to move on, not in a smooth way, with absolutely no segue, to procrastination.
Screen
And
wipe.
how, oh, yeah, can we do like the
Oh
Star
my God.
Wars kind of that? Da 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 da.
Sure can.
Here, wait.
More
Yep.
editing,
Okay.
Jonesy.
Let me
There
call
you
up
go.
ILMs. Mr. Lucas, we need your help.
I think you can do that on Canva. It'll be fine. I feel like you could do that with like PowerPoint.
I hear a lot of you can do that. You can do that. You can do that.
Well, I can make an ad on Canva now, but I'm not a visual person, so I don't really understand when things look pretty.
Got it.
Unless it's cats. Okay. All right. I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay. Procrastination, killing productivity. I think that we all understand that there are going to be times in our lives where we have tasks that we set for ourselves, especially as entrepreneurs, that just are not as exciting as throwing up a whole new website and putting out coupon codes and telling people, hey, I put this project together, in an hour, and I'm really excited that it's already making some money. And when we get to those tasks, Frank, I know that you have a lot of them every day. Jonesy, I know that you have them too. Sometimes we might get in our own way and decide just not to do them. However, we're not really deciding not to do them. Our brain is saying, I'm not motivated to do them. So what are we doing to motivate ourselves to get past that kind of, I don't feel like doing it motivation block, to get through those activities that are so important to our businesses, whether or not, we really, really want to? Jonesy, I want to start with you.
Well, I've realized I don't want to do what I don't want to do. And there's not, I have anxiety. I have, maybe ADHD. I was never really diagnosed with that, but definitely anxiety and shiny object syndrome, which means I want to do stuff that's fun, fulfilling, dopamine seeking. I want it to feel like I accomplished something. And a lot of times, at least mentally or psychologically, the small mundane tasks don't feel that way. So it's a mindset thing. I really need to reframe it as these are things to do now to then free up time later. It's usually time for me. Money usually equals time. So I do XYZ, and it allows future Jonesy, freedom an hour from now, 2 hours from now. And that's my MO is I usually front load work, to then chill on the back end. And that's, I kind of carry that over to anything I don't want to do, whether it's a big task or a small task. And larger ones, I break up into smaller tasks, because I do know I get mental fatigue, emotional fatigue. So if it's something repetitive, break it up into time blocking for sure. Where I say, all right, this hour, I am going to work with the bookkeeper and make sure all these, accounting journal entries are logged and I got all my receipts in. God, that sucks. But you know what it's going to do? It's going to make sure my taxes are optimized at the end of the year, and it's going to keep the IRS off my ass, hopefully. So it's the future reward is typically how I frame it.
I definitely agree that making sure that you are connecting what's happening now to what's going to happen, tomorrow or in a couple of minutes is a really good way of reminding yourself, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to relate this to the potato peeling thing for myself. Now, where I say, I used to hate peeling potatoes, but I really like mashed potatoes. It takes forever. It hurts my hands. Sometimes I cut myself. I have to have my hands get wet and dirty, and I don't like it. And I just decided one day I was going to get really, really good at it, really, really quick at it, and it wasn't going to be a bother. And now I can have mashed potatoes whenever I want in like 30 minutes because I'm super fast at peeling potatoes. Because I decided to do that thing that I hate to do as fast as possible and as efficiently as possible, because I want mashed potatoes. So I
Right.
love the idea of I want mashed potatoes is a motivator. I also want to say, someone that I work with quite a bit, who's a good friend of mine, says eat the frog. So in the morning, if you have to eat a frog, you might as well do it first thing in the morning, so it's done with, because then you don't have to dread it for the rest of the
Yeah.
day. So you can take away those terrible feelings.
Mhm.
Now, if I had to eat a frog, I think I would quit everything, because I'm not doing that. But if I have to eat broccoli and I don't want it, I will eat it first on my plate because
Mhm.
I don't want to taste broccoli forever.
Right.
So Frank, we've talked about our different ways of getting through procrastination. What is something that you do to help you move past, that part of your workday?
I'm still thinking about it.
Okay.
That
So
that was
Jonesy,
procrastinating. Oh my god.
you're procrastinating.
Yeah.
That's okay. So
No.
Jonesy,
Well, you know what? Seriously, guys, today is yesterday's tomorrow. So what you're living today is what you were planning on yesterday, or whatever you did yesterday set you up for today. And tomorrow, you wake up Saturday morning. Again, today's going to be yesterday, which is today's tomorrow. We've got a cat walking right across my screen. Thank you very much. Yes, security. I'm going to get security in here if he does keeps it up. Anyway, so the thing about it is, you might as well swallow the frog or pull the Band-Aid off or whatever, get the sucky stuff over with, because sitting there dreading it doesn't help anybody.
Cat.
Like cat. What is this, man? I'm on film. The headphone. When the whole family knows when the
Focus, Frank.
headphones.
I'm just
What's
kidding.
that?
I said focus, Frank.
When the headphones are on, nobody's supposed to be in my office. This cat got in here somehow. Come on,
Can she hear
shoot.
me?
Oh no, a cat broke the rules. That's so out of character.
Very much so. So yeah, so you might as well pull the Band-Aid off, man, because I think the thinking about it and the anxiety and the mental buildup is so much worse than actually doing whatever it is that you really need to do. And it took me a long time because I have a very addictive and impulsive personality. Like I want it now kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I have something on my desk here taped right when I look down at my keyboard. It says, most people fail to control themselves and end up with regrets. We trade minutes of pleasure, i.e. fast food, hitting the snooze button, alcohol, for days, months, and years of pain. Plan ahead today to overcome your obstacles. Identify what matters and eliminate the temptations that will get in your way. I think it's all important, but most people fail to control themselves and end up with regrets. Oh, I'm going to get to it tomorrow. I'm going to do it later on. I'm going to get to it when I can. And stuff just piles up, man. It just piles up. And you never get to it. So then what? Do the painful stuff, the unfun stuff. You think I want to sort through 80 leads for real estate and call all 80 of them later on today? Not really. It's not fun, but I'll tell you what, I sure do like at the end when somebody says, hey, I'll take your offer, and you make some money. So that just doesn't magically happen. It has to come from the work I do today.
But Frank, what you enjoy is the connection and relationship aspect of it, which once you're talking to the person, you enjoy that. So like what I would think might be something is for you to just frame the prospecting part as the gateway to that relationship and conversation.
What a great job you just did, Jonesy. You just moved on to the next topic really, really well. How to keep a positive outlook. I love that. Yes. Frank, you're talking about framing. You're talking, talking to people is what's going to motivate you to get through those leads, because you're going to get to have a conversation with someone who's awesome. And I know that you're just like me, where you're going to meet a stranger on the phone and they're going to be from someplace and you've never been there, and they're going to tell you about like their grandmother's soup recipe, and you're going to be so excited, and you're going to want to be their friend, and that's what's going to make your day better.
That's
And
what
so that,
keeps me going. Yeah, that part of it.
yeah,
The
yeah, so
mechanics of 80 leads, I'm like, ugh. But I'm going to have 80 phone calls. I'm going to talk to some nice people. I mean, I hang up on calls and I go, that was a nice person. I told a guy yesterday we couldn't do business. I said, you know what? You sound like a really good dude, though, and I'm glad I had a chance to talk to you. I hope you have a great day. That's my little bit of dopamine right there. You know?
yes. And actually, this is going to be kind of related to the motivation stuff, but it really is all related. Our mindset is related to our motivation. When we add a point of interest, some novelty, which means something different, something interesting, something that's new, when we create a challenge for ourselves, when we add urgency, or when we include passion in our tasks, when we remind ourselves that those things are involved, we are more likely to do a good job and to pay attention to our task. That's one of the many neurodivergent things that I talk about that applies to everyone. If you can set up your process so that a person with ADHD can continuously be interested and want to do it and want to be a part of it, then any person is going to want to be a part of it because they're going to be excited to do it. I love the idea of saying like, yeah, okay, I've got to do this thing that I don't want to do. But wait a minute, there's this really great thing at the end of it. So how do you guys keep your positive outlook when you aren't feeling so great about the things that you're working on? Jonesy.
So leveraging past successes and trying to recapture that feeling is one. Now, sure, that's easy when you've had some victories, whether it's small or big, because of that dopamine hit. So then the question is, what happens if you don't have a lot of them? Well, what then you can say, well, what's the worst that's going to happen is I'm right back where I started and I'll get to try again. And thus far, my survival percentage is 100 in life. Hopefully that continues for a while. So whatever the outcome of this task is, it's definitely not the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And I know that's kind of a weird way to say it when you're talking about relativity and reference points and framing is, yeah, okay, I don't want to do mundane task, but is that as bad as being sick, having cancer, getting in a car accident? No, certainly not. So suck it up and do it. And the likelihood of a positive result increases by doing this. And it is only a matter of time where, you're swinging the bat, you hit a couple singles, eventually you drive some runs home. That's correct,
that.
right? I don't do sports ball very much.
I don't know anything about baseball except that I hate it so much.
What?
It makes me so Frank, they made me go to a baseball game for 12 hours.
It ran over a few innings.
It was a 74 inning game.
If I was playing, it would be fine. No, I had to leave my house at 2 p.m. and I didn't get home till 2 a.m. Everyone was talking to me. It was hot and things were touching me. I didn't like it. And I did not want that. I wanted sausages and all I got was hot dogs. Not fun.
A hot dog is a sausage. Fight me.
Okay, you're not.
I didn't say it was a good one.
I wanted Italian sausages, but all I got was American sausages.
It's like calling Elio's pizza. By definition, it's correct, but
is it though? I don't know.
And I was when you were telling your potato story, I'm like, all I got to do is dangle a potato in front of Hannah and a pizza in front of Frank. I can pretty much get you two to do whatever I need you to do.
I'm very food motivated.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's got to be good pizza though, not Domino's or Pizza Hut. That is pizza in name only as well. What's that?
You gave me Domino's.
No, that was Papa John.
Yeah.
Isn't it the same thing as the other two?
No.
It's the same thing.
Marginally better.
No,
Support independence. Support independence.
Support your local independence. Yes, as in Francesco's in beautiful Newtown, Pennsylvania, who someday will see fit to be a corporate sponsor and feed us in pizza routinely.
I do like their pizza. Trevor likes their pizza. All right, so I'm going to go back to the mindset thing.
Yes, please.
So Please don't cut that out because I still liked it
No.
anyway.
Very relevant.
Okay. So as far as that mindset stuff, one, I think it's important to figure out where are you in your positivity versus negativity in your day-to-day life. And I'm going to point out something that Jonesy said earlier. He said, even if you don't have so many wins under your belt, after you're done a task, even if you don't succeed, you get to do it again. And I want to point out that language. He didn't say you have to do it again. He didn't say start all over because you failed that time. He said you get to do it again. Our language dictates how we think and it shows how we think. So when we practice using positive language, and I don't mean toxic positivity, it's not like you have to lose your hand and be like, I'm so happy I only have one hand now because I don't have to wash that, right? No, we don't want that. But it's good to remember that most of the things that we're dealing with, like Jonesy said, are not cancer. Most of the things that we're dealing with are not going to kill us. Therefore, we can sprinkle a little bit of, you know what? I didn't get everything that I wanted out of that deal that I did or out of the work that I did, but I learned a lot. I learned what not to do. I learned what I want to do next time. I learned about a new technology or I learned a new technique. And that will give you a much better result than saying, oh my God, this didn't work out. I've had plenty of clients. I was having a conversation the other day that I'm not working with right now. Now, do I think I'm going to work with them in the future? Probably, but I'm not upset that I'm not working with them right now. And I was catching someone up about my business recently. And she said, how is this business you were working with doing? How is this business working with that you were doing? And there were 2 or 3 of them that I'm not working with right now. And that's totally okay. And they're all for different reasons. I don't see those as any sort of failure. I see them as ways that I got to learn about what I want to do with my life and what I want to do every day when I wake up. And I did learn a lot from each and every one of them. Some of them are project-based. Some of them are go back and forth. Some of them are doing so freaking well, they don't need me. And I'm really, really happy for that. I feel like I've been pontificating for too long about this. It is so important every day to remind yourself there are good things about what I'm doing, no matter what the result is. One of the ways I think we should practice that on a regular basis before we move on is to write a gratitude list. Not a gratitude list necessarily about your personal life, but what did I do today that I feel proud of? And what am I grateful for that I learned or gained or that I spoke to someone in my business? And how did that help me? If you can write down just 2 to 3, no, I'm going to say minimum of 3 things, just 3 things every single day that you've learned in your business or that make you happy in your business, you are going to start thinking this way naturally. You're not going to need any help. It's just going to happen that way.
I love it.
Sorry, I just monologued for a while. My apologies.
No, you're good because the more you talk, the less I have to.
See, look at that positive mindset. So I'm going to bring this next one up to specifically Frank. I don't know how much you relate to this, so that's kind of why I wanted to do that. Have you ever been such a perfectionist that you haven't started something because you wanted to do it right, but you've heard of it before? I know we've talked about it before, where people will want to get every little last detail in their business set up before they start their business, right?
Yeah, I'm big picture. I'm just like, let's go for it. What do we need to get started now? What's the minimum viable product? If I would have thought, when I went full time on the internet, it was 8 months and 2 days. It took me to go full time. The whole time I was working on it, making this money, I didn't know everything about the product or service. Or, I tell people, let me get my guy on the phone with me. He can help us. Or I would say, we've got a fax on demand. We didn't even have hardly websites back then. And I made money. If I sat there and said, I got to figure this out and the other thing out and this out, I'd still be driving a truck 28 years later. There's no excuse for sloppiness, mind you. But at the same point, there's also no excuse for drag assing and not getting things done. Because something's got to get done at some time. Might as well be now. Because now is the only time you have. Getting a little metaphysical there, but it's the truth. Like, you want to quit smoking cigarettes? Now. Oh, wait. Now. Oh, wait. Now. And Hannah's looking at me. right? You want to get a better job? Put your resume in now. Work on your resume now. Now, oh, look, 3 nows just went by in the past 3 seconds. Those 3 opportunities you, dear listener and viewer, had to change your life. You know, you want to go out and get exercise? I was going to say put us on pause, but don't you dare. Finish this recording and then go out and walk a mile. Walk a freaking mile, 1 mile. It's nothing, you know? And now you've made a step. Walk another mile tomorrow. You can change. The great thing about being alive is, number one, you can change your mind and your life anytime in any instant that you want. Number two, just about everybody seeing this lives in a country where, you know, almost all of us live in the Western Hemisphere. We've got people in Asia and Australia and stuff, but, you know, all these countries, you got internet, you've got power, you've got a shower, you've got a toilet, you've got heat. There's days, because this book, I'm not quite finished with it yet, but there we go. There we go,
There
Frankie.
it is.
Do it right. Yeah. By Shad Helmstetter. This book, because I'm opposite here on the screen. That book is freaking amazing. Because you know what? You're the only person that talks to yourself 24/7. And you're the only person that lives with yourself 24/7, 365. So instead of blaming other people for your stuff, you better look at yourself and say, hey, am I computer programming? Am I hard coded with crap and beating myself down and self-doubt? Or is my hard drive filled with, hey, that was okay. Let's do it again. We can do better than that. Hey, things are going good. I know they're going to be going great next. You know, it's what you say to yourself that really matters most. That's not just a cliche or a book.
No,
It's the truth.
How our brains work.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, thing is, if anybody talked to me in person the way I used to talk to myself, I'd punch them right in the face and never talk to them again. And yet we allow that in our own minds every day, all day long, most of us. So what's up with that?
I absolutely agree. And I love the way that you said that. Jonesy, unless you have anything else to say about perfectionism, I think that was the perfect conclusion to our episode, talking about how we can be good to ourselves, how we can see the positive, how we can get something done now instead of waiting till later to eat the frog, and how we can be here and show up for ourselves so that our future selves can be successful.
I have nothing
And
more to
happy.
add, because the perfectionist in me said, yeah, that could be a little better, but it's great. So we're going to roll with it.
Yay. It was good. It's good enough. And I'm sure it's going to be great later. So for everyone who is listening to our Conversion Chemistry Effect podcast, I'm going to give you something to do. I want you to go and download our worksheet, Unproductive. We're going to give you a link. And if you are not already a part of the Conversion Chemistry community, you need to do that now. Come talk to us. Comment under this. Go to our website, conversionchemistry.net. Go to our website, conversionchemistry.com, sign up for a free trial, be a part of our community, and then you're going to want to go pro.
That's perfect.
Thanks.